U.S. pauses Israel arms shipment over Rafah assault fears as Biden pushes for a ceasefire. These are the headlines in NBC News. Clearly, the leverage now is taking effect. It's coming into play now. We had initially, during the beginning of this war, this genocide, the U.S. sent its aircraft carriers to the Middle East to supposedly deter Hezbollah and Iran and potentially Hamas, as if Hamas are deterred by anyone. Or the others, really. After the temporary ceasefire, the initial temporary ceasefire, they withdrew them. That was the first leverage from the United States. Back then, there was a massive backlash from Israel, and there were many efforts to push back these aircraft carriers that the US had to the Middle East, because to Israel, the war hasn't ended and the threat isn't gone. Hezbollah is still here, Iran is still here, and obviously we still have a campaign with Hamas. Then there were multiple delays for other shipments, but this one is the most significant one. So this report on NBC, and I'm going to get to the response from Israel, by the way, because we had a couple of responses that were very interesting for you to listen to. Bombs on hold. They initially elaborated that Washington is not happy with Israel regarding the Operation Rafah, and that they didn't want them to conduct this operation. As if you're really genuine, you don't send them anything from the beginning. You knew what Israel is capable of. So anyway, though, they're not happy with how Israel is conducting it, so to speak. Okay. They started this report with this. However, they continued later on with the title Bombs on Hold. The White House halted the shipment of weaponry last week because of concern that it would be used in Rafah. The shipment included 1,800 2,000-pound bombs and 1,700 500-pound bombs, the official said. So 1,800, almost a ton bomb, and then you have 1,700, quarter of a ton bombs. Significant numbers. The Biden administration had been especially focused on ending Israel's use of 2,000-ton bombs in its offensive in Gaza, the official said, given the impact they have on dense urban areas. Oof. I'm glad they realized that now. Israel already has a large arsenal, making the halt unlikely to stop an offensive. The US began reviewing future transfers of military assistance to Israel in April as the government appeared to move closer to a Rafah operation despite the urging of Biden, other world leaders and humanitarian officials, the official said. No final decision had been made on whether to proceed with the weapons delivery at a later stage, the official said, adding that the State Department separately considering whether to approve future weapon transfers, including joint direct attack munition kits, which place precision guidance systems onto bombs. What was the Israeli response? That's very interesting. So the first response was from a woman called Tali Gottlieb. Tali Gottlieb is a member of the Likud party and a very close individual to Benjamin Netanyahu. Extreme far right. This woman, literally, you'd listen to her, you'd want to vomit the next second. What did she say? In a speech in the Israeli Knesset, by the way, US threatening not to send precise missiles, the quarter of a ton precise missiles. Is there such a thing as a 1-ton bomb precise? You can call it as precise as whatever, as however many times you like. You can call it as precise as much as you like. How can it be precise? 1 ton. 1 ton, you'll kill people hundreds of meters away. With such, what the hell is wrong with these people? Anyway, well, I have news for you, she continued. We have imprecise missiles. We have imprecise missiles. So I will use my imprecise missiles, and instead of taking down a room or a building, I'll take down 10 buildings. That's the first response that came from Israel. You don't want to send us precision missiles? You don't want to send 1-ton bomb? I don't know, do they have a 10-ton bomb, Israel? What do they have? A massive US bomber? What are they going to land? She continued. We'll take down 10 buildings, she said. Axios also reported that Israeli officials had their responses to, and obviously they didn't quote their names. Two sources said officials warned that halting shipment will affect negotiations and told Biden administration that instead of putting pressure on Israel, they need to put pressure on Hamas. And they also mentioned that sources expressed their frustration to the Biden administration about the fact that they published this. Not only that they halted the munition transfer, that they published this. Why? Because the whole world is seeing. At the end of the day, Europe is the little puppet of the United States administration. And if the US is halting weapons now, UK will follow suit, other European countries. You already have Canada banning arms exports previously. Other countries banning some arms sales. It will be a domino effect, and Israel is petrified of this, by the way. And they consider the US public opinion to be an existential threat. A man called Nir Barakat, previous senior figure in Israel, he said the other day, US public opinion is a national security threat, existential threat to Israel. Let alone the US taking these small actions. You can say whatever you like, show whatever it is. At the end of the day, they did it and they published it, and Israel is responding publicly. It's not stopping the genocide. The US is not just complicit, it's the enabler. It's worse than Israel as an administration. There's no denying, but this is happening. This is happening. Obviously, it should be at a far larger scale to stop the genocide. As a matter of fact, the obligation would have been from the get-go is to take your army and go to stop this genocidal state from the beginning. You don't wait for anything. You did it in other countries where you had interest, by the way, and you created and fabricated lies to go and invade other countries and committed massacres. But if you're saying that you intervene in case some people suffer or what have you, that's the best reason to go into it. They obviously didn't, but this has happened. So Israel is very worried. The question is, how far can Benjamin Netanyahu push the United States? How far can Benjamin Netanyahu push the United States? They want Israel, they love Israel, they declare they're Zionists, for heaven's sake. They're more keen on Israel than Benjamin Netanyahu himself. But that doesn't mean that they see eye to eye with Benjamin Netanyahu with everything. And with this move and with the publishing of this move, you could have implications on Israel that will potentially start to perhaps slow it down. Because we have mixed signals, really. You have this cooperation with the Rafah crossing. You have Austin saying something, by the way, Secretary of Defense. But at the same time, you have these reports.